Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as it is, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Verses and translations. Chapter 13. Nature, the Enjoyer, and Consciousness. Text 1 and 2. Arjuna uvacha. Prakritim Purusham chaiva, Chaitram Chaitragnam evacha, Etad Veditum ichami, Jnanam yeyam sakeshava. Sri Bhagavan uvacha. Idam sariram kanteya, Chaitram ityabediyate, Etad yo vetitam prahu, Chaitragna iti tadvida. Arjuna said, O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about prakrti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the end of knowledge. The Blessed Lord then said, This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. Text 3. Chaitragnam chapimam vidhi, sarva chaitreshu bharata, chaitra chaitragnayor jnanam, yattad jnanam matam mama. O Skyan of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Text 4. Tat chaitram ya chajadriksha, yad vikari yataschayat, sa chayo yat prabhavascha, tat samasena me shranu. Now, please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are. Text 5. Rishir Bahura Gitam, Chando Bir Vividhai Pritak, Brahma Sutra Padaischaiva, Hetumad Bir Vinishichai. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings, especially in the Vedanta Sutra, and is presented with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Text 6 and 7. Maha Bhutani Ahankaro, Bodhir Avyaktam Evacha, Indriyani Dasyaikam Cha, Pancha Chandriya Gochara, Icha Tvisha Sukham Dukham, Sangatas Chetanadriti, Etad Chaitram Samasena, Sa Vikaram Udaritam. The five great elements: false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. Text 8 through 12. Indriyarteshu vairagyam, anahankara evacha, janma mrityu charavyadhi, dukkha doshanudarshanam. Ashaktir anabisvanga, putra dara grihadishu, nityam cha sama chitatvam, istanisto papatishu. Mai chanaya yogena, bhaktir avya bicharini, vivikta desha sevitvam, aratir jana samsadi. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshinam etad jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yad atonyata. Humility, pridelessness, nonviolence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness and self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and the rest, and even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, resorting to solitary places, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to these is ignorance. Text 13. Gyayam yat tat pravakshami yajatva nritam ashnute anadimat parambrahma na satan nasaruchite. I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal. This is beginningless, and it is subordinate to me. It is called Brahman, the spirit, and it lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Text 14. Sarvatapani padam tat, sarvato shi shiro mukam, sarvata shrutimaloke, sarvamavritya tishtati. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes and faces, and he hears everything. In this way, the Supersoul exists. Text 15. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, sarvendriya vivarjitam, ashaktam sarva brichaiva, nirgunam guna bhoktricha. The Supersoul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature. Text 16. Bahir antas chabhutanam, acharam charamevacha, shukshmat vat tat avijnayam, durastam chantike chatat. The Supreme Truth exists both internally and externally, in the moving and non-moving. He is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is very near to all. Text 17. Avibhaktam chabhuteshu, vibhaktam ivachastitam, bhuta bhartri chatajayam, grashishnu prabhavishnu cha. Although the Supersoul appears to be divided, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. Text 18. Yotisam apita jyotis, tamasa paramuchate, jnanam yayam jnana gamyam, vidhi sarvasya vishtitam. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Text 19. Iti chetram tatagyanam gyayam choktum samasata madbhakta etadvignaya madbhava yopapadyate. Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Text 20. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi vikaram cha gunam chaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Text 21. Karya karana kartritve etu prakriti ruchate Purusha sukadukhanam bhoktrive heteruchate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material activities and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Text 22. Purusha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti jangunan karanam gunasangosya sada sat yoni janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Text 23. Upadrasta numanta cha bharta bhokta maheshvara parat meti chapi yukto dehesmin purusha para. Yet, in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the Supersoul. Text 24. Ya evam viti purusham prakritim cha gunaisaha sarvata var taman nopi nasabuyo vijayate. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Text 25. Jnanan atmani pasyanti kechid atmana matmana anye sankhena yogina karma yogena chapare. That supersoul is perceived by some through meditation, by some through the cultivation of knowledge, and by others through working without fruit of desire. Text 26. Anye tvevam ajanata shrutvanyebhya upashyate tepi chati tarantyeva michum shruti parayana. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Text 27. Yavat sam jayate kinchit, sattvam stavara jangamam, chetra chetragya samyogat, tadvidhi bharatarsabha. O chief of the Bharatas, whatever you see in existence, both moving and unmoving, is only the combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. Text 28. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinasyat vasinasyantam ya pasyati sa pasyati. One who sees the Supersoul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the Supersoul is ever destroyed, actually sees. Text 29. Samam pasyan hi sarvatra, sama vastitam ishvaram, na yastyat manat manam, tatoyati paramgatim. One who sees the Supersoul in every living being and equal everywhere does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. Text 30. Prakrityaiva chakarmani kriyamanani sarvasa ya pasyati tatatmanam akataram sapasyati. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. Text 31. Yada bhuta pritak bhavam ekastam anupasyati tata eva chavistaram brahma sampadyate tada. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities, which are due to different material bodies, he attains to the Brahman conception. Thus he sees that beings are expanded everywhere. Text 32. Anadidvan nirgunatvat paramat mayam avyaya sarirasto pikanteya na karoti na lipyate. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Text 33. Yata sarvagatam sokshmad akasham nopa lipyate sarvatra vastito dehe tatatma nopa lipyate. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all-pervading. Similarly, the soul, situated in Brahman vision, does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. Text 34. Yata praksha yatyeka kritsnam lokam imam ravi chetram chetri tata kritsnam prakasayati bharata. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Text 35. Chetra chetragnayorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye vidhu yantite param. One who knowingly sees this difference between the body and the owner of the body and can understand the process of liberation from this bondage also attains to the supreme goal.